you haven't already heard, it's been announced that not every Pokemon will be available in Pokemon Sword and Shield. And I don't mean not all Pokemon can be caught, and the ones that can't can be transferred later. I mean, if it isn't in the Galar Pokédex, it won't even be programmed into the game. So no way to transfer it into Sword and Shield through Pokemon Home. It'll be completely cut, meaning you may not even be able to use your favourite Pokemon in Sword and Shield depending on which Pokemon it is. And fans of course are not happy about this. Now there is a possibility that Game Freak may decide to patch Sword and Shield at some point, so you are able to transfer other Pokemon into the game, but there's no guarantee of that. And the fact is that as of now, there is no way to catch them all in Pokemon Sword and Shield, which to a lot of people is a pretty big letdown. Definitely not enough to boycott the game. I mean, that's just silly. I mean, let's be real, I highly doubt that everyone complaining about not every Pokemon being in Sword and Shield will plan to complete the National Dex, if there was one. It's also been confirmed that Mega Evolutions and Z-moves won't be in the game, being replaced by the Dynamaxing mechanic. I'm more okay with Z-moves going, but I will miss Mega Evolutions, not gonna lie. So, instead of complaining or defending Game Freak's decision, I'm gonna give you some of my hopes for Sword and Shield, by listing 10 Pokemon I really want to be in the game. Game Freak have said that since they're cutting the entire Pokemon roster, they want to include Pokemon that will best fit the Galar region, as well as please the fans. And I think the 10 Pokemon that I have are the best picks to have for Pokemon Sword and Shield. So, instead of worrying which Pokemon aren't going to make it, let's try and stay optimistic. So, here is my list of the top 10 Pokemon that I think should make the final roster of Pokemon in Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. Starting with number 10. Luxray. I think this would be a really cool addition to Sword and Shield, because aside from Pikachu, Sword and Shield is going to need some really cool looking electric types, and unless Scorbunny eventually becomes a cool looking electric type, Luxray I think would fit the role perfectly. Yes, I'm aware there's a Corki Pokemon that's electric type, but Luxray could act like a fitting counterpart. So yeah, Luxray I think would be a great addition to Pokemon Sword and Shield. And number 9 on my list is Scizor. We need some really cool bug types in Pokemon Sword and Shield. And what better bug type to include than the steel one, that is... no, not that one. Or that one. Scizor! I mean, look at it. It's basically a bug version of a knight. How could you not think that would fit perfectly into the Galar region? Plus, as we all know, Megas aren't going to be in the game. So the least you could do for Scizor is give it a slot in Sword and Shield. At number 8 on my list of Pokemon that should be in Sword and Shield is Zoroark. It makes sense for Game Freak to include fan favourite Pokemon as part of the final roster, and Zoroark is more or less the fan favourite Unova Pokemon. It's also one of the most unique Pokemon with its illusion ability. Definitely a Pokemon that Game Freak should consider keeping. And number 7 of my list of Pokemon that should be in Sword and Shield is... a tie between Charmander and Charmeleon. The champion Leon already has Charizard, meaning that we know Charizard is going to be in the game. But what about Charizard's pre-evolutions? What if we can only find Charizard in the wild, and not a wild Charmander or Charmeleon? What if breeding isn't in the game, and you can't breed for a Charmander? So just to be safe, Charmander and Charmeleon are number 7 on my list. And number 6 on my list is Sceptile. Not gonna lie, haven't been too impressed with the grass types shown so far. I mean, Grookey's pretty cool. Gossifleur and Eldegoss are okay, nothing spectacular. So having a really cool looking grass type would balance things out a bit. And Sceptile I think would be the perfect fit for that. And number 5 on my list is Mewtwo. Mew we already know is going to be in Sword and Shield, so it's only fitting to have Mewtwo as well. It's probably safe to say that they're gonna cut quite a lot of the legendaries and mythicals from past games. So with Mewtwo being arguably the most popular legendary, it would only make sense to include him in the game. At number 4 on my list of Pokemon that should be in Sword and Shield is Greninja. Speaking of popular Pokemon, it would not be a smart decision on Game Freak's part to not include the most popular Pokemon overall voted in Japan, so Greninja would please a lot of people. Not only that, but Seismitoad has pretty much already been confirmed for Sword and Shield. Are you really gonna say to your audience that you chose to have this thing over Japan's favourite? I don't think so. And number 3 on my list is Incineroar. You know what people love? Cats. so it only makes sense to include the best cat Pokemon. And number 2 on my list is Riolu. We already know that Lucario is going to be in the game, so just to be safe I'm going to give this spot to Riolu. Baby Pokemon, as we know, aren't that popular, but Game Freak can't just get rid of all of them, so it'd be best to include arguably the best baby Pokemon there is. And the number 1 Pokemon that I think deserves to be in Sword and Shield the most from past generations is... Aegislash. Because fucking look at it. Also Infernape. I think Infernape should be in Sword and Shield as well, because just in case Grookey's evolutions suck, it'd be safe to have at least one amazing monkey Pokemon in the game. So that's my list of the 10 Pokemon that I believe shouldn't be removed for Sword and Shield the most. My biggest worry, of course, is instead of these Pokemon making the list, something else much worse will instead. Which is why I've also made a list of 10 Pokemon I think shouldn't be in Sword and Shield, and that Game Freak should consider removing. So starting off that list we have... Number 10, Simisear. Greninja, as I said, was voted as Japan's number 1 favourite Pokemon. You know what was at the bottom of the list? Simisear. You honestly think it'd be a smart decision to include Japan's least favourite Pokemon over basically any other Pokemon? Especially the ones that I already mentioned? I don't think so. At number 9, Drowsy. You know what Drowsy reminds me of? Being drowsy. When someone's drowsy, they're sleepy. And when people are sleepy, they yawn. You know why people also yawn? When they're bored. And people are going to be bored if Drowsy is in the game. Plus there are so many other much better psychic types to have instead. Number 8 is Pelipper. Crap. Number 8 is the other 2 f***ing monkeys. No one wants them, so they can be on the list as well. And number 7 on my list of Pokemon they should remove is Luvdisc. We already have so many fish Pokemon, and we're bound to get more. If we're going to bring any back, we want to include some of the cool, interesting ones. Not this one. And number 6 on my list is Aromatisse. Slurpuff and Aromatisse are already pretty unpopular fairy types, and Slurpuff is already confirmed to be in the game. So let's not have both unpopular fairies, just one. Let's just put Aromatisse to the side, you know, forget about it. No one will miss her. And that'll be that. Number 5 is Snubbull. People love dogs. Cute dogs. Snubbull is not a cute dog. Plus we already have a new Corgi, as well as other perfectly good dog Pokemon. We don't need Snubbull. And number 4 on my list of Pokemon I want removed is Clefairy. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no! Chansey. Number 4 is Chansey because I never want to fight an Eevee like Chansey ever again. And number 3 on my list is Alolan Dugtrio. Alolan forms shouldn't be in the Galar region because this isn't Alola. So keep the shit out of the game. Although if you want to add Alolan Raichu and Alolan Marowak, I'd be perfectly fine with that, just saying. And number 2 of my list of Pokemon I want removed is Jinx. Jinx has already caused enough controversy as it is. If you're going to get rid of Pokemon, best get rid of the one that causes problems. Plus, who the hell's going to miss Jinx anyway? And the number 1 Pokemon that I want removed for Pokemon Sword and Shield is Crabominable. Because fuck Crabominable. And there you are, 10 Pokemon that I think should make it into Pokemon Sword and Shield, as well as 10 Pokemon that I think should be removed for Pokemon Sword and Shield. I also made a list of Pokemon that I'm on the fence about being in Sword and Shield, but it's the same as another list I made, so you can check that video out if you want. Hopefully Game Freak will make the right decision. But if not, and it turns out your favourite Pokemon doesn't make it into the game, just remember that the ice cream and garbage Pokemon did make the cut. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more Pokemon videos in the future, and until next time, thank you so much for watching.